All right, our next little project is going to be a little goat, and same type, long neck little thing. All right, we've gone through a lot of these already, so basically, you know, separate the tail. See, each time I'm cutting the tail, I'll cut the tail a little bit shorter for a certain animal, in other words. Okay. We are in Texas, and we have had a tremendous amount of rain lately. I mean, a lot of rain. All right, as we all know, I'm gonna go ahead and cut the neck here. This is still 1 inch. We've been working with 1 inch wood. I kind of drew these patterns out myself. Didn't really get them from anywhere. Sometimes when I make these patterns, I'll take the head of a goat and put it on this pattern. In other words, you have to go and photocopy a lot of this stuff to make it fit. That's all right. That's part of it. We've been doing this part so much, pretty much easy, pretty easy to get this taken care of right here. Now we really want to be careful with the head of the goat, because we have something a little bit different. These are not ears, by the way. These are his horns. So as you see, as they go this way, we're really going to have to be real careful with the grain when it comes to that. I ask you to continue praying for me, for my health. I've gotten over my hand, but I've still got some problems with nerves. This gallbladder operation, I don't know what it did, but everything was fine until after I had my gallbladder out, and now I'm just having all kind of issues with itching and at night burning of the nerves and around my stomach and stuff. So I covet your prayers. During the day I do okay. It's at night that I have some issues. Okay. All right, now that we've got our little body kind of down the way we want it, now let's work on this head. Now, of course, these horns on the billy goat are course, separate. And then on the billy goat, you have these little ears that come down here like this. Okay? And little ears that like this, in other words. So we're going to cut those out as well. I'm going to bring them even further down. And that far down. Same thing here. Okay. Let's go ahead and just kind of shape our. You can go ahead and basically what we want to do is put a center line down here, and we want to put a center line down here. Okay? Okay. So let's go ahead and start. Before we even start, let's just kind of cut our little ears. Start cutting them out just a little bit. Okay, let's kind of. Let's do the same over here. Just kind of. Got a little. Okay. All right, now on the goat, the same basically thing. We're gonna, whoops, gonna come this way. We're gonna do this. See that? Do that. Kind of do this. Okay, now let's go ahead and just be easy now and cut the center line. And when you get to the edge here, you want to be very, very, very careful. We want to be very careful of all this because we have to separate these horns. Okay? Have to separate them, and we want to be careful not to go too crazy. See? Want to be careful because those are really because the grain really changes heavily in here. See how we separated that? Okay. You want to just barely scrape that because you really get into the look right here. come this way. And then this goes this way. This goat also has nostrils, like a okay. We want to continue to take wood around the grain. Like I said, the grain changes in this area. We want to take wood off. We want to be real careful because we want to separate these horns. So before we thin the horns up, we want to get them separated if we can, so that we have enough wood here that we don't get too thin that we start breaking the piece. In other words, okay. Ears. We're doing. Okay. And we're gonna hit that again. Move that. The reason I go from different place to different place, a lot of people say, why don't you stay on one place? Because I'm looking at these places and seeing how the proportion. Now these proportions are characters, so they don't have to be just completely proportion, but they do have to have some proportion to them. I'm sorry, excuse me. Oh, tell you. I drew a little blood. That's not, and that's not even from the knife. I didn't hit myself. I know I didn't. I might have had a little cut there anyway from some. I was doing some work on a door the other day. I might have cut myself on that door. I know it's not the knife. I'm not trying to say, well, I can't cut myself, because I can, but I know I didn't touch myself with a knife. I would have felt it. Believe me, when you touch yourself with a knife, you know it. You nick yourself. I was working on a door yesterday, working on a knob on a door, and I had some issues trying to get that lock to work right. Sometimes I cut myself or something. Okay, now look, we're starting to really separate, as you can see now, our oh, in fact, we already have. Separate our horns. But it's taken a lot of time now just to of course, the horns are way too thick, as we see. And we understand that. And, oh, I got a little blood. I don't know what I did there. It's around my cuticle of my fingernail, so that wasn't where the knife hit me. Something else. I don't know what it was. When you get to carving, you're putting pressure on your knife. I mean, you're putting pressure on your hand. If you have any kind of little cut or something, it's going to come out. Okay. I won't have to use no red paint, see? Okay. Alright, I'm going to see our eyes will be in here. I'm just kind of doing that. Well, I tell you what, I'm gonna have to go get something, maybe and put it on, because I'm bleeding there. See, it's just I've done something to the cuticle here for some reason. So we're gonna end this right now, and I'll be back.